Welcome back to the third episode of the Most Improved Podcast. We're here for the inaugural episode of the Football Podcast, and it's myself and Peter again with our guest, Mr. Jake.
Hello.
The football wizard himself. And we're going to be starting off with our AFC North predictions, and just go right into it. I got the Browns finishing last. It's pretty simple in my opinion why they would come in last. Deshaun Watson spent 11 games. They probably win 1 or 2 games through those 11 games. I don't see them going off at all. They got Myles Garrett, best defender in the league. Well, top 3. And that's really all they have going for them with their QB situation.
Yeah. What'd you have in record-wise?
I had them at 7-10.
You were a little bit nicer than me.
Really? Okay.
I'm not going to show you my ranking for them yet, but I have them at 9-8.
Wow.
I have them at 4-7 when Deshaun is gone. And he's going to come back. He's not going to be full strength like you saw in the preseason, where he was just awful. But he will be better than Brissett, obviously. And I think he gets them to the ranking in the division. I don't think they make the playoffs, though.
Yeah, I have them out of the playoffs. I definitely don't think 9-8 is what they're going to be. Did you have them last, too, in the division? No?
You'll see.
Wow. Okay. So 9-8 I think is pretty outlandish because their QB is suspended 11 games. He's an all-pro caliber quarterback. And their offense without him is really nothing special. Like, Amari Cooper is a stud, and their offensive line is solid. They got
Probably top 5 running back in the league.
They have probably top 5 running back duo in the league. And then Chubb is top 5. But, yeah. And then the defense is solid, but in the division, in the AFC North, in that division, 9 games is pretty hard to win, I think.
I had them winning 4 games.
That's hard.
I feel like their schedule is pretty hard. Yeah. The 4 games I have them winning is at home versus Steelers, away at the Falcons, at the Texans, and then at the Commanders. Yeah. I feel like there's some games that they could pick up, but most of the teams they play pretty good, I think.
Did you say they beat the Steelers this season?
I have them splitting with the Steelers.
Yeah. I have them splitting with the Steelers and the Bengals. I think because the Bengals, they haven't beaten the Browns in the Joe Burrow era yet. So, and there's really no reason to think that they won't sweep them. But there's also no reason to think that they will sweep them, I think.
Yeah.
Last place in the AFC North for me are the Steelers at 7-10.
Okay.
2-4 in the division. I think I have them sweeping Cleveland. I have to look. Yeah, sweeping Cleveland. What I wrote for them is that I don't have a lot of confidence in Pickett or Trubisky. I don't think Rudolph is a starter. I don't think he's even close.
He might get traded.
I don't have a lot of confidence in the wide receiver core outside of Deontay Johnson as well. George Pickens is a little bit too raw.
He's pretty aggressive
as a prospect. Claypool is a baby. You're not going to get anything special from him. You're going to get 700 yards, a couple touchdowns. But the worst thing on the team is the offensive line. Massive liability. There's not one good player on that line.
Yeah.
Kendrick Green, they were looking up to him. He's a right guard. He's been awful in the preseason. I think his PFF grade's 26.3 or something. And that defense is good. It is solid, but they're getting older. And you have a bunch of older players getting on the field a lot more because the offense can't do anything. Because you don't have a lot of the weapons on that offense, so you're not going to be able to move the ball. You're going to be punting. And you put an older defense in the field a lot. Yeah, they have studs, but they're going to get tired, especially if TJ Watt is injured. He got injured yesterday.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's just not a good system there in Pittsburgh.
I think they will go 9-8. I have them at 9-8 because their defense is what's carrying them. Even last year, Big Ben was horrible. He's objectively horrible. So it makes sense why why he wanted to retire and Pickett. I think Pickett will replace him as a QB1 going into week 1. But I just don't have that much faith in Pickett. I agree, there's going to be a lot of 3 and outs and not that much going on offense, but their defense is really the foundation of their team. So I think they can squeak in 9 wins. I'm make maybe 8 or 7. That would make sense too. But yeah, that's what I think. What do you got, the Steelers? Oh, you already said the Steelers. No, you said the Browns. My fault.
Yeah, the Steelers are 5-12.
Jesus.
My fault. Yeah, 5-12. I feel like the Browns and Steelers both suck.
You're really lowballing both of them, I think. But that makes sense in a way. Nah, no, it doesn't. It really does not make sense. 5 wins is five wins is like the Lions. Like that's, and the Steelers are definitely better than the Lions in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so then my Steelers are my third place, but they tied with the Ravens, who are my second place at 9-8. So is that?
Well, you know my Browns record 9-8. You know my Steelers at 7-10. I had the Ravens at 8-9, third in the division.
Wow.
3-3 in division play. I have them there because they have a lack of weapons outside of Andrews. They're going to bank on Rashad Bateman breaking out when he played like 6 games last year. And he is a little bit injury prone. He was injured in Minnesota a lot. He was injured last year, obviously, in that groin. You do get Dobbins and Edwards back, the running back duo that was hurt last year. But I think teams are starting to figure out how to play Lamar Jackson, even if it is almost impossible, because it's Lamar.
Yeah.
But it's not that difficult to defend an option-style offense when you don't have any wide receivers outside of Bateman, who is not a certified wide receiver 1 yet. So I'm thinking, again, you have a pretty okay defense. But when your offense is just not there yet, yeah, I can be wrong about Bateman, and I hope I am, honestly. But I just don't have confidence in the offense at all. And when I say solid defense, I don't think the linebackers are there. Obviously, secondary and defensive line, you got Campbell on the defensive line, you got Peters, Humphrey back in the secondary. Then the linebackers, I'm looking at the starters, Dalen Hayes, Josh Bynes, and Patrick Queen.
Patrick Queen is solid.
He's just not good in coverage.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Odafe Owe is a linebacker, but he's more of a defensive end
at
Penn State. I just don't believe in them at all.
I have them at 9-8 because like they're coming back healthy. Their offense, the receivers are not there still, but like the running backs, Dobbins, he was a 1,000-yard rusher. That's in 2020, right? Yeah, so he's solid. So I think that him and Lamar probably combine for like 1,800 rushing yards and probably like 10 touchdowns together. So maybe probably more for rushing, but I don't know. Their defense is still solid, but I just have them at 9-8 because my bias for the Bengals comes out strong for my prediction for them. So my prediction for the Bengals is 13-4. I don't know if that's outlandish in your opinion, but
I mean, I had them at 13-4 until I redid these predictions 2 weeks ago almost. I have them first, obviously, and it's consensus. I have them 12-5, 5-1 division play. I don't think they reach the Super Bowl again because of the Super Bowl hangover. It's a real thing. Like no team has done that.
Joe Burrow's got that Tom Brady mentality.
Okay.
He'll go back.
You have great weapons on the offense. Deepest wide receiver room in the league, without a doubt.
Yeah.
You have 3 wide receiver 2 to wide receiver 1 caliber players. You have a decent tight end, right?
It's Drew Sample and Hayden Hurst, so not horrible.
Hurst is okay.
Yeah.
You have an improved offensive line. I think you still have 2 holes in the offensive line.
I think it's pretty elite. It's Jonah Williams is improving a lot.
Jonah Williams, Alex Kappa, and La'el Collins.
Ted Karras is not horrible. He's average.
He's just a journeyman, you know.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that elite play from him. But I think the tackles are good. I think you got one of those interior pieces well. You're just going to struggle, I think, running the ball against those bigger, meatier teams you're going to see in the AFC North, especially like the Steelers. I am concerned about the linebackers outside of Logan Wilson.
Jermaine Pratt is he's just a Cincinnati legend, so
he had the interception
just because of the interception, he's really not all that good.
But I think that the defense is amazing. Besides that,
yeah, and what's his name? Gathers or Davis? What's his name?
Davis Gathers.
Davis Gathers. Yeah, I was watching him like in training camp and stuff. He's improving, but he's still not anything special like what we hope. But it's something to look out for, and I think Jackson Carman is a good enough guard that can replace someone if they go down. But So that's why I think the Bengals have the best offense in the league too. I was watching in preseason too. Lassiter and Trent Taylor are studs in the preseason. I know it doesn't mean anything, but they, I think, from what they're playing like, can be solid wide receiver 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because our 3 studs, Boyd, Higgins, and Chase, if one of them goes down, and it's easy replacement for Taylor or Lassiter to step up.
Yeah,
And Bates coming back is huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Let's see what he has to say about the Bengals.
I had them 12 and 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not much to say. You guys pretty much covered it.
Dax Hill is amazing. The
I'm
Giants
surprised you
game.
guys didn't trade Bates because you have Bell and Hill.
But now it's like the trio.
Trio
The
is
trio
pretty good.
safeties
Trio is
is
pretty good.
it's really good, in my opinion.
I never quite touched on the reasoning for the Browns at 9-8. I have them 9-8, 2-4 in the division. Obviously, they'd be better if Watson was there full year, but like I said, he's going to be rusty when he gets back. And while he's gone, you have a great offensive line, top 3 in the league easily. But who is Jacoby Brissett, an already not good quarterback, going to throw to besides Amari Cooper? You got Anthony Schwartz, who can't catch the ball.
Peoples Jones.
You got DPJ. He's a big play guy, but he's inconsistent. You got David Njoku. He's always hurt. You're going to have these fluctuating weapons. I have them winning 4 games because of that defense, because of the fact that you do have that running back duo. But I think Watson comes back. They just dominate the bottom end of the season. I just don't believe in them at all with Jacoby Brissett. I don't think anyone does.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't. So that's very understandable. And going to the AFC West, this is by far the toughest division to really judge going into the season. But my 4th place is the Las Vegas Raiders. Which, is that not? You don't think so? Really? I thought that was pretty consensus for 4th place. They can still make the playoffs. They still can win 10, 11 games. But I have them at 9-8. Just because I don't think, as a whole, in that division, they can beat any of the teams twice. Like, I don't think they're going to sweep. There's no sweeps at all. I don't think any team's going to sweep each other in that division. So, I don't know. Just a really hard division. And I think that their defense is what's really struggling with their team. It happened last year. That's why they didn't win more games. Their offense is going to be stellar. But I just don't trust everything that they got going on in their defense. Like, their secondary is horrible besides Hobbs. And, yeah, that's my reasoning for why I think we're going to go 9-8.
I have them at 11-6, 2nd in the division.
That's steamy.
That is steamy. It's a steamy
That's
take.
quite steamy, yeah.
You have Max Crosby, arguably
Oh.
top 7 to 10 edge rusher. You sign Chandler Jones. You add Bilal Nichols from Chicago. Not much depth after that. But then the linebackers, that's the worst part of the defense. Like I've said with a lot of teams so far, you got Divine Diablo, Denzel Perryman, and Jayon Brown. Brown's a good tackler. He's not good in coverage. Perryman's a good tackler, not good in coverage. So all teams are just going to commonly see with them, just going to throw it right over the middle, right over the head of those linebackers. Diablo is more of a hybrid kind of guy. But I think the secondary is solid, but they're just unproven. You got Rocky Sin, traded from Indy for Yannick Ngakoue last year. You got Jonathan Abram, Trevon Moehrig, and Nate Hobbs. That's a solid group. They just don't have that bona fide star.
Hobbs is the best out of them.
Yeah, I
Secondary
think
for
he
sure.
is too. Abram is looking more and more like a bust, but you have Roger Teamer behind him, who is okay-ish. So I have a decent rotation back there at safety, but I like the offense a lot more. I think Carr is that type of quarterback that can win you games if he has a good cast, kind of like Kirk Cousins. I know a lot about Kirk Cousins.
Big Vikings guy.
I am. And I think those two are very similar. I'm not going to say who I think is better because I'm just biased. But they're the same type of quarterback. I think with the running back room, you have Jacobs, who's a solid between tackles runner. You have Zamir White, the rookie out of Georgia, who's been phenomenal in preseason. And you have Amir Abdul out of the backfield as a receiving back. But obviously everyone's going to look at the receiving weapons with Adams, obviously, top 3.
Yeah.
You had Renfro out of the slot. And Keelan Cole's average. But Darren Waller, you get him back after you missed a lot of time last year. And after you have after you acquire a guy like Adams, it's going to draw attention away from Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller, who produced last year while they played, even when they were double guarded and had no Adams. So Adams is going to get production while being double guarded, leaving those two completely free most of the time, especially Waller. And I think the offensive line is really bad. Colton Miller is amazing. Besides that, you got John Simpson, Andre James, Lester Colton Sr., and Alex Leatherwood. Horrible.
That's atrocious.
You have those three weapons, but is Carr going to have time to actually throw to them? And I think it's enough. I don't think it's enough to go to like the AFC Championship.
Yeah. I can see them making playoffs. Where'd you have them?
I had them 10-7.
Did you have them fourth, third? Where'd you have them?
I think I had them fourth.
Fourth? Yeah. I can see where you're coming from, but just in my opinion, they're the weakest in the division. And I had the Broncos going 11-6 as my third place. I'm a big fan of the Broncos. I've been a big fan of the Broncos since Courtland Sutton carried me in fantasy. There's one good season before he got injured. But what was that, 2019, I think. But that was, and their defense is really good. Getting, of course, Russell Wilson, he's still a top 7 quarterback in the league, for sure. He's going to be a really big help to throw Judy and Sutton the ball. It's definitely sucks that Tim Patrick went down for the whole season, but their wide receiver room is still solid.
Mm-hmm. I have them at 9-8, last in the division. I'll go over their schedule because I know you guys are going to be like, what the hell? I don't believe in the defense a lot. I have them losing to the Texans in week 2.
Oh my gosh.
I have them losing to the Niners, the Raiders. They're 1-3 to start. They go on a little bit of streak. They lose to the Raiders again in week 11. Then they win a couple more, lose to the Chiefs, lose to the Cardinals, lose to the Rams, and lose to the Chargers to end the season. But the real hole is the defensive, the front 7 on that defense. I'm going to read you the starters to this front 7. This was a defense that was horrible against the run last year. Not as bad as the Chargers, but we'll get to them.
Yeah.
I don't think they did enough in the offseason to really consider themselves an elite front 7. You got Draymond Jones, DJ Jones, Deshaun Williams in your base 3-4. That's your defensive line. Off the edge, you got Gregory and Bradley Chubb. Chubb's looking more like a bust.
Yeah, Chubb is definitely.
And then your middle linebackers, you have Jonas Griffith and Josie Jewell.
Bums. Absolute bums.
The secondary is very good.
Yeah.
But when your front 7 isn't generating any pressure, guys can't guard each other for 10 seconds every play. You got Surtain and Ronald Darby at corners. Then you have Kareem Jackson and Justin Simmons, one of the best safety duos in the league. Kareem Jackson is a little bit older now. I think he's 34, 35.
Still productive, though.
He is.
For sure.
And I think the offense is going to be exactly how everyone says, like Russell Wilson, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon,
I didn't even mention him,
Sutton, Judy, Hamler, and Albert O, new tight end. That's going to be a great group. And offensive line is above average. Got Bowles, Reisner, Cushenberry, Mirnez, who's the big fat rookie, and Calvin Anderson. That's the one hole on the offensive line. I just don't believe in the defense at all, especially against the run.
I have them 10-7. Yeah. I feel like all these teams can fluctuate with records. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the Raiders and them are going to be battling for last place. Yeah.
I agree. And then for my second place, this is where I think it's going off the it's going off the normal opinions of NFL fans, but I think the Chargers are a little overrated. I still have them going 11-6, maybe 12-5, but I think they're a little overrated. Herbert he's an absolute superstar, but he has not proven that he can win in crunch time situations that he needs to go off in. He did against the Raiders to try and go to the playoffs, but it was really his defense that was his fault. But he needs to be able to facilitate the offense and score in every possession when it matters.
Okay, I agree with that, but we'll get to them in a second. I have the Chiefs finishing 3rd. I haven't touched on them yet.
Yeah,
I've been winning 10 games. I think it's pretty apparent why. you're losing Tyreek Hill, Tyrann Mathieu. And you replace Tyreek Hill with Sky Moore, who they hope to be the next Tyreek Hill. He's coming out of Western Michigan. That's a small school like Tyreek Hill. There's no weapons there. Obviously, they have Mahomes. The offensive line's pretty damn good. You look across it, but the real concern is obviously the defense. Lose Tyrann Mathieu, replace him with Justin Reed, whose best highlight is kicking a field goal as a safety. You have Chris Jones in the interior defensive line, but there's just not enough talent on that defense to warrant them all this hype that I think they're getting. 10-7, 2-4 in the division, third place.
I did not have them. I had them as my number 1 seed just because Mahomes is Mahomes, and he can turn Juju Smith into God knows what he can turn him into. He can turn him into like a 1,500-yard receiver if he stays healthy. And like you said, the defense is definitely questionable, but I just think the sheer magnitude that Mahomes pulls on the offense will make them a contender in the AFC.
I think they're going to be contenders either way.
Well, yeah, but 10-7, I think is a little underappreciated. But
yeah, I had them 11-6, number 2 seed. Yeah, I don't think they'll be as good as the Chargers. I feel like the Chargers are best team in that division.
I don't. So you guys said Chargers both with 1 seed or 1 spot in the division.
Yeah.
What'd you have them at?
I had them really high. I had them 13-4. I think Herbert is just the elite of the elite.
That's what
He's gonna, even though I don't think he'll have the statistical season again, but I think he'll take another leap, become a better quarterback, become smarter and stuff. Yeah.
I have them 13-4 as well. They're the most improved team in football. You can't deny that.
They are.
They trade for Khalil Mack, who is older,
old.
but he's still Khalil Mack. You pair him with Joey Bosa, and you add J.C. Jackson, one of the best ball-hawking corners in the league.
He got injured. It's a slight injury, but
he'll be back.
Yeah.
He's only missing 2 to 4 weeks. He's a little inconsistent in coverage, but I think Asante Samuel was their second-year corner. He's pretty damn good. You add Sebastian Joseph Day to fix that run defense along with Khalil Mack, along with Joey Bosa, who was injured a little bit last year on and off. And then the offense, I think, the emergence of 2 players. One they just signed is Gerald Everett, who kind of bounced around the league. He went from Rams, Seahawks, down to Chargers. He's definitely more of a vertical threat kind of tight end. He has speed. But I think Josh Palmer, third wide receiver on the team, he's going to have a breakout season. All the attention is going to go to Keenan Allen, obviously, Austin Eckler in the backfield, Mike Williams. You're isolating Palmer in the slot. So you have this shifty-ish wide receiver. He's not top-end speed, but you get him against these big linebackers, especially on the Raiders and the Broncos, he's going to have yards. Herbert is Herbert. I think we all agree on that.
Yeah.
I think it's more of the coaching. I think Staley really messed things up last year with the 4th down decision-making. That was bad last year.
That was bad.
Eckler and Kelly are a good duo in the backfield. I like Spiller, the rookie out of Texas A&M they drafted. He's been hurt, though. I drafted Eckler in fantasy, so I'm going to be rooting for him. 4th pick, by the way. Filled me at 4. I think this team is too good, and you look across the defense, the secondary is amazing. Derwin James, Nasir Adderley, J.C. Jackson, Asante Samuel. You got Bryce Callahan in the slot, the veteran. Kind of bounced around the league as well. Kenneth Murray at linebacker, first-round pick a couple years back. Hasn't been amazing, but he hasn't been awful. And I think that defensive line, like we said, is very, very good. You got Jerry Tillery. He's okay.
He's not that great.
You got Austin Johnson, definitely more of a nose tackle.
Yeah.
The
DJ
stuffer.
Reader role for the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you got Joseph Day, signed over from, I believe, the Jets, if I have to remember that correctly. And then Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, one of the best duos in the league.
For sure.
If they can stay healthy.
Yeah, I just don't trust Khalil Mack. Joey Bosa, definitely top 5. But Khalil Mack, as a 35-year-old-ish.
Yeah.
He's getting old.
He'll still be a threat.
He's still a threat, but I just don't see him producing as much as his prime would, which is obviously expected, but I think he might take a giant step back.
The two division winners I have the Bengals the 3 seed at 12-5, Chargers 2 seed at 13-4. I'll let you guys
Wait,
guess. I made the whole playoffs.
You had a higher team than the Chargers at 13-4?
Mm-hmm. Just gotta think of those two divisions. You got the South and the East.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about.
Oh, I know you're talking.
We'll get to that.
It took me a minute. Yeah.
The Chargers losing 4 games. I have them dropping one against Denver. I have them dropping a game against the Falcons. It's a trap game, so they're coming off their bye, playing a team that is not good. We'll get to the Falcons when we get to them, but they're not going to be good. They're not going to be in the playoffs. You come off your bye, play them, and you're already worried about the Niners. You have the next week. I have them dropping that game too. Coming off your bye, lose to the Falcons. You're just like, what just happened? You drop a game against the Niners. I think you drop a game against the Dolphins week 14, and I think they're 4 losses.
So you have them going on kind of a streak of 2 losses in a row. Yeah. Or was that 3 losses in a row?
That was 3 losses in 5 weeks.
Yikes. They can definitely do that. I had the free agents. We're going to move to the free agents, or really just offseason moves. We each did 3 that we think is the biggest offseason moves. And for my number 1, this is like not any like order, but one of my favorite moves, being a Bengals fan, is definitely the offensive line improvement. That was what we lacked last season in the Super Bowl. It's really what cost us the Super Bowl. And I think getting Kappa, Karras, and Collins is going to make our line probably top 12. Maybe higher, but definitely solid enough to now be able to compete with those heavy edge rushers and just defensive line units that really wreak terror on quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So that was mine. Jonah Williams and Jackson Carman are proving themselves in training camp. And Jonah Williams was proving himself by the end of last season too. But yeah, so I think with those 2 guys, that's a solid starting 5 on the offensive line.
I agree with that. I think that's easily a top 5 move. I mean, I didn't really consider that when I made this list a couple hours ago, to be honest. But I have 3 moves from the AFC West. List. Start with one of them. I think it's easily Devontae Adams to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You get him for a bag of chips. Like a 2nd-round pick for the best wide receiver in the league. Really flipped the script for the Raiders, in my opinion. Like I said, you're taking attention away from Darren Waller, one of the most athletic tight ends in the NFL, taking attention away from Hunter Renfrow, one of the slipperiest route runners in the league. But does Carr have enough time to throw the ball to them with that absolute liability of an offensive line? I can't rank that number 1 just because of the offensive line.
Yeah. What you got?
I had Adams 2 to the Raiders. Yeah, I just think he's going to have a huge impact on day 1. Obviously, if Carr can throw to him, but yeah, he's the best receiver in the league, in my opinion. I think he'll immediately just make a huge impact for that team.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm assuming you guys, or at least Jake, had the other AFC West big move with Russell Wilson going to the Broncos. Like that's what's going to put the Broncos over the edge as a playoff caliber team, in my opinion. You might not have them in the playoffs, but you don't. Yeah, I think they will sneak in as a 6-7 seed. Like Russell Wilson is still the top of the top of quarterbacks. He's top 7-ish, and he's throwing to really good receivers with Sutton, Judy, Hamler, and then is their tight end a rookie?
No, 3rd year.
He's 3rd year? Yeah. Oh. I don't really know much about him, but so I think that Russell Wilson is really going to throw the Broncos over the edge into being one of the better AFC contending teams, because that's really what they lacked since Peyton Manning left is the quarterback position, and Russell Wilson is that guy, in my opinion.
I have that obviously on this list, but I have it more for the team itself than the league. I don't think they're going to be anything special just because of that defense. But I think that, again, changes the whole script around the Broncos, where before, if this move never happened, you look at the Broncos and say, oh, that's a 4-win team, 5-win team at best, because Drew Lock. You see what he's doing in Seattle right now. He can't even win a job against Geno Smith.
Yeah.
So I don't think Wilson pushes them to the 12, 13 win range just because of that defense. I'm not saying the defense is going to be like bottom 5, but that front 7 is just atrocious. And I think it flipped the script of how people will look at Denver, but not how Denver's actually going to perform.
That makes sense. See on your list too?
Yeah, I had Wilson, and then my third one was Deshaun Watson to the Browns. I think this year, like, he's missing 11 games, so he won't have a huge impact. But, like, he just, when he plays, he's a top 10 quarterback. I just think, yeah, that's going to be huge for them going into the future. Like, I don't think Baker was the quarterback that could, like, make them a Super Bowl contender. I feel like Deshaun Watson is. So, yeah. Like, Jake had him going 9-8 when he's missing 11 games. So when he plays the whole season, who knows? Yeah. So that's why I had him.
He should have not suspended the full season, but that's
That's
beside the point. But yeah, so my third off-season move was Matt Ryan to the Colts. I think that's a really good move. I think the Colts, in my opinion, are the clear favorites to win the South. The Titans are taking a step back. Tannehill is not good. Like, Malik Willis could be good. Derrick Henry's getting older. He just came off a pretty bad injury, and he was on pace for 2,000 yards or whatever, but like that doesn't matter when you get hurt. So I think that the Colts offense with Jonathan Taylor coming back, or not coming back, but just continuing his progression as a top 3, top 1 running back in the league next season, like he was last year, and then Pittman getting an actual quarterback that can throw him the deep ball is going to explode into like a 1,200-yard receiver. That's what I think.
Fantasy target,
yeah. You said all 3, right? Yeah.
My biggest move, without a doubt, is the Chargers' entire offseason. I'm not going to pinpoint an exact move, but whole free agent, whole trades, all they made. They didn't have that many draft picks. I obviously traded for Khalil Mack. Again, they got him for a second-round pick. Then you add J.C. Jackson. You add Sebastian Joseph Day. You add Bryce Callahan. You add Gerald Everett. These are just guys at 4 to 5 position groups that weren't solid last year. The run defense for the Chargers, I'm making fun of the Broncos, but the Chargers had the worst run defense in the league last year. They didn't do much outside of Joseph Day on the interior defensive line. Still starting Austin Johnson, who's best suited as a run defender. Tillery is awful. He's a first-round pick at Notre Dame. He's been awful. You had Morgan Fox from Carolina as a backup. Definitely going to be more of a rotational piece. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts, but he's not anything special. You had Van Noy from, I believe, Miami.
I think he went back to New England.
Yeah. Not anything special, but a good depth piece. But I think they just did enough in the offseason, especially getting that offensive line. You draft Zion Johnson in the first round out of Boston College. You have Corey Linsley. You have Rashawn Slater. Then you have Storm Norton at right tackle. That's the only hole in the entire offense, in my opinion. Everything else is just too good to not say this is the best move or most improved move of the offseason.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I just don't trust the Chargers because I think Burrow's better than Herbert.
That's crazy.
But we'll go into the early award predictions. We're only going to do 3 this episode, and that's going to be MVP, Coach of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year. And my Defensive Player of the Year, it was stuck between the 2 AFC North guys. It's TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, in my opinion. And TJ won it last year very undisputably. So I think this is Myles' year.
I had the same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't pick one. I had to pick between Nick Bosa and Micah Parsons.
That's a good take.
I don't see Watt. He's hurt right now.
He is.
So if he misses 1 or 2 games, that's 2 games off of a possible 22.5 sack season. That's the record.
He missed 2 games. Exactly. Or whatever last season, still had 21.
We don't know about the injury. It doesn't seem like it's that bad, but if he misses a week, 2 weeks, that'll take stock off of at least the early predictions. Garrett is Myles Garrett. I think he's going to be in that top 3 to top 5 for this award. I think Nick Bosa is just too good not to put on this list, especially at the other weapons on that defensive line. You have Armstead, you have Kinlaw on that defensive line. They're going to be eating up those blocks, leaving Bosa free with that left tackle, right tackle. He can play both sides. And with Parsons on Dallas, you have DeMarcus Lawrence on the opposite side, who is older now.
Yeah.
But, he can do anything. He can cover, he can stop the run, he can obviously rush the passer. He's by far the best defender in that division.
Yeah.
Not the NFC, because Aaron Donald's there. I think Donald takes a step back. I don't think he's up for this award this year. I think it's between those two.
Donald should get suspended, too, for that damn fight that he broke. Mm-hmm. Come on. But, yeah, I agree with the Nick Bosa take, especially. He's coming off the injury that he had, and we, just forgetting about his 2020 season. And that was his rookie season, right? Or second year?
19.
19? Oh.
He had 15 sacks.
Oh, yeah, that was...
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely am behind that Nick Bosa take. I don't think Micah Parsons is going to win it quite yet. Mm. I think he will definitely win 2 or 3 in his career.
That's more of a steamy take there.
Yeah, it's definitely jumping the gun a little bit, I think. Going to the MVP, I have Josh Allen. I think it's Josh Allen, or as much as I hate to say it, Justin Herbert, just because of that offense. But Josh Allen is due for one. The Bills are going to be the best team in the AFC, maybe even in the whole league, but they might not make the Super Bowl. That's biased.
Bengals' opinion.
Yeah. I think Bengals go back-to-back appearances.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, I already have them set for the Super Bowl, but I could see the Bills in the AFC Championship and definitely competing, or obviously competing. Their roster's insane. They have Josh Allen, who is gonna throw. This is my prediction. He's going to throw for 4,800 yards and 44 touchdowns.
How many picks do you have to say?
8.
39.
So, who do you have as MVP?
Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Come on.
Is you at Herbert too?
That's crazy.
Okay.
I just don't think there's anyone else, especially with the weapons around him. He's just throwing to all these all-stars. He's not going to not put up these great numbers unless he gets hurt. And obviously no one wants to see someone get hurt, but there's no reason why Herbert doesn't throw for close to 5,000 yards with the extra game, with the extra weapons, with the pretty decent offensive line besides that right tackle. I don't think it's really a competition. I think Herbert is a clear-cut number 1.
Yeah, especially if he's going 13-4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Josh Allen, I got him with a better record, but still.
I saw Fanalize Sports AZ on TikTok. He had Justin Herbert throwing for 5,400 yards and 52 touchdowns. That's not happening. No. I'm sorry. That's not happening.
No.
That's
they just
too
can't
much.
run the ball.
That's what they're doing. Austin Eckler should have 600 rushing yards. And then Coach of the Year. This might be a hot take too, actually. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be a good team. I think Jalen Hurts is going to take the lead. They made the playoffs last year. Nobody expected them to make the playoffs last year. So I have Nick Sirianni as my Coach of the Year. Eagles, we'll get to my recognition for the Eagles in the NFC later on. But I think the Eagles are going to be the best team in the NFC East.
Okay. I can agree with that.
Division's not.
Well, the Cowboys are pretty good. So
They got worse.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. I think the Eagles can win. Can go to the divisional round in playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Sirianni wins it because of the rest of the division. You got the Giants, you got Commanders in there. It's not going to be like those jaw-dropping wins. But I have them winning their division. We'll get to them when we do. But my Coach of the Year was between 3 people. Between Josh McDaniels. It was between Kevin O'Connell.
I don't think.
And it was
he's
between,
not a good coach.
Hold on, I cannot find this third candidate. It's driving me crazy. I can't find the third candidate, but it was mainly between those first 2 I listed. I went with McDaniels. I think he takes the Raiders to that next step. They went 10-7 last year. They made the playoffs with that horrible scenario. You had Ruggs, you had John Gruden resigning. I think you get a guy like McDaniels who was looked at as a pretty shadowy guy. He went to the Broncos a couple years back, was horrible. went back to New England, took the job at Indy, and then backed out of it, went back to New England. I think he takes this job, and I think he runs with it. I mean, they beat the crap out of the Vikings in the preseason, and watch that. I think he just makes Derek Carr that better quarterback that we've kind of haven't seen since 2016 when he took the Raiders to the playoffs and then missed the playoff game.
That was a Mariota. Oh, no, that was... Sorry, I'm not... Never mind. I was thinking a little bit differently. I thought of that Mariota game. I don't know why. And against the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. I thought he was on the Raiders for some reason. But that was Titans. Yeah, I don't think Josh McDaniels is a good coach. He's been behind Belichick for a while, which obviously helps his stock. But I don't think he's going to be a great head coach on his own. Even though the Raiders last year with their replacement coach, he wasn't even that bad.
No.
He did lead them to the playoffs. So maybe it's just like talent of roster could be better than the coaching.
I had Brandon Staley. I think just since the Chargers are going 13-4, they're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be the 2 seed, in my opinion. I think, yeah, whatever he is, the second, third-year head coach for the Chargers, I think he'll win it.
I can definitely see that because the Chargers are going to be the 2 seed in your opinion, so it definitely makes sense.
They're going to be the 2 seed.
Okay, you're just
Should be
calling it right
consensus.
now.
Should be consensus.
I might have had them as 2 seed too. I'm not gonna lie. No, I didn't. I had them as the 5 seed. So Would You Rather time, and Would You Rather is inspired by the Pick a Side podcast. I'm a big fan of them. So is Peter. I don't know if you watch. Yeah, big fan of them. So it's their idea. Once again, say it every episode, but it's their idea. So my Would You Rather player to start with is Mr. T. Higgins.
Oh my god.
So T. Higgins, stand over here.
So we name off around 10 names, and we say Would you rather have, in this case, T. Higgins or the name that I say. And T. Higgins or Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen.
This is going into next season predictions.
Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen, I could get behind that. Terry McLaurin.
McLaurin.
I agree. DK Metcalf.
Higgins.
Thank you.
Metcalf.
Come on. He has Drew Lock throwing him the football. Or he has Geno Smith throwing him the football.
Geno Smith is better than Drew Lock.
I guess.
Doesn't matter.
DJ Moore. This is where my bias of loving DJ Moore comes in, as going over my T. Higgins prediction. I think DJ Moore is going to be better than T. Higgins.
I'll say Moore.
Yeah. CD Lamb.
CD.
Higgins.
You're a big CD guy. I knew you were going to say
I'm a
that.
big Higgins guy.
You're a bigger CD guy.
No, that's not
No? All right. Deontay Johnson.
Higgins.
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown.
Brown.
Okay. Darnell Mooney.
Higgins.
Sleeper
Higgins.
pick. Darnell Mooney's a sleeper pick.
I got Mooney in fantasy.
Yeah.
Big year.
Jalen Waddle.
Higgins.
Yeah, I agree. If it was just Jalen Waddle on the Dolphins instead of having Tyreek, I might have gone behind Jalen Waddle.
I'll still say Higgins.
Yeah, I'm saying Higgins. And Mike Williams.
Higgins.
Both 2 of the best wide receiver 2s in the league.
Gotta go with Williams there.
Really?
Just for the big plays.
Wow. T. Higgins makes big plays, too.
I think Williams more consistent with big plays, at least.
Okay. So that's my list. I agree with most of those takes. I do think that your DK Metcalf take is pretty outlandish, but that's just me.
DK is different, bro. He caught 12 touchdowns last year.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he had Geno Smith throwing the ball last year, but he had Russell Wilson for half the year.
Injured Russell Wilson.
Still Russell Wilson.
It's true. You can go. I'll go last.
My player is DJ Moore.
Oh.
So I went with a bunch of kind of those middle tier receivers. DJ Moore or Odell?
Moore.
DJ Moore.
All right. DJ Moore or AJ Brown?
Odell's not even on a team.
Brown.
So.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, who said AJ Brown?
Yeah.
I'll go AJ Brown.
DJ Moore or Tyler Lockett?
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore or Amari Cooper?
Because of suspension, DJ Moore.
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore or Chris Godwin when he returns healthy?
Godwin.
DJ Moore or Brandon Cooks?
Ooh.
DJ Moore.
I'll go Brandon Cooks.
DJ Moore or CeeDee Lamb?
DJ Moore. DJ Moore.
CeeDee?
DJ Moore.
CD
don't
might
like
have like a
CeeDee Lamb.
1,500 yard
No, he
receiver.
won't. No, he won't.
He's like the only receiver there except for Dalton Schultz.
Don Schultz. I don't care. I don't like CeeDee Lamb that much.
DJ Moore or Hunter Renfrow?
Because of Devontae, the production's going to go down. I'll go DJ Moore.
Yeah, DJ.
DJ Moore or Jalen Waddle?
Jalen Waddle.
Okay.
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore or Michael Thomas?
Ooh, Michael Thomas.
Okay.
I don't know what to say about that.
He hasn't played in like 2 years.
I'll say Michael Thomas, though. Respect. And then mine is Saquon Barkley.
Ooh, that's interesting. Say a lot of people that are not going to be Saquon Barkley.
I'm going to say a lot that are probably better. Austin Eckler.
Eckler.
Kamara.
Kamara.
Saquon.
I'm a big Kamara guy. Joe Mixon.
Mixon.
Okay. Really?
Saquon's not good.
He's great. I'll go Joe Mixon, though, because of my Bengals. But
Travis Etienne.
oh, that's Saquon. Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Saquon.
David Montgomery.
Saquon.
Montgomery.
What?
Montgomery.
James Conner.
Saquon.
Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams.
Javonte
That guy's
Williams.
gross.
DeAndre Swift.
Swift.
Saquon. Swift is so overrated.
He's going to have a great season.
Swift is so... He may be the most overrated player in the NFL.
No.
Hopefully not, because
They
got
buy
him in
into his
fantasy.
fantasy. This is like Jalen Hurts. This is the running back Jalen Hurts. They buy into his fantasy.
Didn't Jalen Hurts have a good fantasy this week?
Yeah.
That's what he means.
Let's hope Swift is the same way.
He's just not... He's not that like game changer. He doesn't have that elite speed. He's okay at the backfield.
He got ripped, though.
First game in his NFL career, he dropped a game-winning pass in the end zone.
He got nerves.
He got nerves. That shouldn't happen if you're in the NFL.
That's true.
Game scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a bonus would you rather, too.
Really?
Just for you. Would you rather Joe Burrow? First name is Justin Herbert.
Joe Burrow.
Oh my god.
That's my Stevie take.
Gotta go Herbert.
Yeah.
MVP.
Russell Wilson.
Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
How are you debating over Wilson and
No,
Justin Herbert?
because Wilson's a veteran and he can do more things than Herbert
I feel
can.
like five. Matthew Stafford.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Deshaun Watson.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Sean Watson.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar.
Joe Burrow. Are you kidding me?
It's close.
Are you kidding me?
It's close.
Gotta go Lamar.
Okay.
Kyler Murray.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Kyler overrated.
Highest paid quarterback for what? The guy cannot win in the playoffs. Or
It's about to be Lamar, though. Lamar's going to be the highest
after
paid.
COD releases. Do you see that stat? That's funny. But so that will wrap it up. That was a pretty solid episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. And yeah. Yeah. Close it off. We're really bad at closing off the episodes, as you can tell. See you later. Producer Paul.